So from Ruthless Aggression, like say 2002 to present, I know we've talked about John Cena being on the top for the most of that, but who else do you think didn't get their fair time to shine? You know, that place at the top that Cena got, like that maybe have gone since then.
I mean, there was a lot of guys, but honestly, they didn't deserve it. You know, at the time, because back then it was talent. It was talent upon talent upon talent. Mm-hmm. People were over.
You want a specific name? I don't think Kurt Angle ever got his true moment in the WWE. I really don't.
I disagree with that.
I think there's a case for both. I mean, he wasn't there very long, though. That's the thing.
That's true. That's true. I mean, compared to other guys that were there, yeah.
Batista accomplished a lot in what, the 7 years he was? No, longer than that, right?
I don't know. I don't see Batista as ever being really that big of a draw on his own while he was in the WWE. I really don't.
He was over as fuck on SmackDown.
Nah, Batista.
He was one of the.
Well, I mean,
when Cena came over to Raw, and Batista went to SmackDown.
I mean, there was Batista a hot minute. Okay, I'll give you that.
Batista owned SmackDown. I'll give you that. Yeah. Cena owned Raw.
Batista and Taker.
But you gotta. But like, see, I think about that stuff, and it's like, yeah, they were the most over guys. But when you think about that whole time period as a whole, who gives a fuck about 2007 WWE? Nobody.
It was a low point in the business.
Like you can.
It really was.
Yeah, like it's like saying who was the most fucking over guy in '95.
Yeah.
When you had the Goon and Mantar or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like.
So fuck Lashley.
Is wrestling too nostalgic?
What does that mean?
See, like, okay, so when you watch, say, football, baseball, whatever, it's about the current season. It's not about what's happened before, right? Do you think...
Depending on who you ask.
WWE is too nostalgic. Wrestling isn't too nostalgic.
Okay, so that was kind of my...
I mean, it's like the girl who was... It's like the chick who was hot in high school who's fucking busted now. She's going to talk about her high school years because those were her best years. It's the same thing.
Do we... I'm kind of...
Until WWE hits a point...
conflict here.
Until they hit a point where they are hot again and they got stars again, you're gonna keep hearing Attitude Era shit.
I've got an internal conflict here because we're sitting here making these arguments about how, you know, we need to attract the casual fan, but then we're all sitting here, we're all hardcore fans, obviously. Where is the do you try to make this more kayfabe realistic, you know, whatever, or do you try and go back to the variety hour type deal, or where it feels more like a TV show than it does a sport? Where do you go with it?
You need different shows for different things. Monday Night Raw needs to be like a WWE commercial. Like a 2-hour long just commercial. So these are the best of our best. This is a little sample of, we do a little bit of everything here. Then SmackDown, your specific show. SmackDown, your workhorse show. NXT, your developmental.
So kind of like it was in 2002?
Yes. I mean,
so you think like 2002 was the perfect balance?
So. I think so. I think it was the perfect roster. And it was the perfect, the perfect distribution of roster, of talent, distribution of talent. And that's my opinion, because I feel like you had your past, your present, and your future. You still had Rock, Austin, and everything. You know, you had Hogan, NWO, but you had your present, the guys that you're trying to build now. Your Brocks, you know,
Cena's,
Orton, Edge, you know, all those guys, Batista. You know what I'm saying? And you still had your legends that was coming back. You know, Roddy Piper and Flair, and you know, these guys. So you had your past, your present, and your future.
And WWE today does not have that at all.
It's just a lot of present and a lot of future.
I don't even. No.
There's a lot of past and there's a lot of future. There's no present. There's no one who now is like, fuck yeah, besides like Braun, and he's just now getting there.
I disagree. I think there's a lot of past and present. I don't think there's a lot of future.
There's a lot of future. Have you,
Like who?
As a guy who goes to NXT, you should be ashamed of yourself for saying that there's no future.
That's not my point. I don't feel like they build the characters on television enough for there to be.
Well, I think a part of that is the fan.
I can't sit there and be like, hey, this guy's the future.
I blame the fan on that part of it. You know why? Because fans are fucking impatient. You think fans will let a guy, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, develop into a Triple H these days?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
You think fans are going to let Rocky Maivia develop into a The Rock? Or a Ringmaster develop into Stone Cold? They don't have the patience for that shit. Undertaker? Are you kidding me? They don't have the patience for it.
So it's instant gratification.
People want it now.
That's why Bray Wyatt fucking died. Because they were trying to build that for the longest time, and people wanted it just to be instant gratification.
Well, no. And it was a two-way thing with that. Because
I mean, there's a little bit more to it than that, but I'm talking about just from, the argument that we're having here. I feel like people wanted it too fast.
They did, but at the same time, it was like...
But that's society nowadays, right?
But they paced the Wyatts perfectly in the beginning, because they were doing their thing in FCW. Then they were doing their thing in NXT for a little bit. And, then they came to the main roster.
Yeah.
The problem was somewhere along the line, they lost vision and they lost consistency. Where they lost the vision for where they wanted it to go, and they stopped booking them on a consistent basis. And that's a problem with a lot of guys right now. But it's the same thing. They don't think in the office. They know for a fact that the fans don't have the same patience. Which is why they're so quick to just give up on shit.
So do you think it's possible for a brand new faction to thrive today? If they wanted to start one from right now and build it up, it wouldn't happen?
Well,
what do you mean by faction?
Like a new...
A company?
A new stable on the main roster.
Oh, you're talking about within the WWE.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
There needs to be a plan. You got to have a plan. If you have a...
And the right guys, yeah.
You see a young blue chipper that you want to make into somebody.
Okay.
You put say like a Jason Jordan, for example.
Okay.
If you have to have in your mind, okay, in 2 years' time, I want this kid to be
main event
level.
Okay.
So you have a plan for that. You say, okay,
you have to book the long term.
Exactly.
I think they're booking too much on the short term. I think another thing is they're trying too hard to make everybody a single star, and that's not everybody's forte.
Actually, I'll say the opposite. I think they book a little too much long term sometimes, with no room. With no room for
growth.
It's like
you need to book more guys long term. You need to have more guys involved in the long term booking. Then
I think if you're going to book long term, you just need to make sure that you have, I guess, supplements or contingency plans in place. What if this guy just doesn't get over, or what if one guy just skyrockets?
Or if a guy gets hurt,
right? Something like
Cass,
that.
Because they were pushing him, right, and he was going along, and then he got hurt, and now it's just like, fuck, where do you go from here?
And it's just too much.
Let's be honest, Big Cass's injury is the best thing to happen to Enzo and.
It's the best thing to happen to both of them, because Big Cass is gonna come back.
He's gonna be hot.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna come back together anyway. I think they're probably gonna get back together.
I was thinking about that
just as like a heel tandem. I think that's where they should have went with that in the first place. But that's a whole nother discussion.
That's a whole nother tangent we're trying to get off on. But I think you need to work on a multi-level idea. It can't just be we've got all these guys that we want to eventually be main eventers, and then
no one's booking the undercard. That's the problem. No one's booking the undercard. Everyone's just focused on those main event feuds.